Right. Hi, guys. I wanted to see if I could get us live and then let all of the mighty companions join. Here they come. Oh my gosh, here they come. Hi, all the mighty friends are coming. Hi, guys. Welcome. Welcome to the circle today. Hi, hi. Let me see. I think I've got us all set up. Hi. Yay. Familiar faces and some brand new faces. I wanted to see if I could get us live and then let all of the mighty companions join. Oh my gosh. Here they come. I don't even know where it is. Oh my gosh. Here they come. Hi. Hi, guys.
Well,
Hi. Hi. I love this moment in time. My gosh, there's like a lot of you that I really don't know. Isn't this fun to meet in YouTube land in a Zoom room? It used to be that we used to like meet friends in bars, right? Not anymore.
Go.
Right, a long time ago, Dave goes. A long time ago. Yeah, so I'm yeah, super excited to be with you guys today and to welcome our new friends to the circle. And yeah, we have lots of things to talk about, lots of things to do. And before I get to know all of you, it would be really great to do a little meditation. Everybody up for that? Just a few moments to just be quiet together. Hi, Joel. Oh my gosh, a brand new friend. Look at all of you lovers. Right. Kathleen. Okay. So I will invite all of you mighty companions that are here in the chat with us and also here in the Zoom room to sit quietly and comfortably in what we like to call your seat of wisdom. All right. So sitting either on the ground or in a chair, taking your hands, reaching up. Go ahead and close your eyes. Just taking a few moments to get quiet. Allowing all things to be exactly as they are. Calling on the highest wisdom and grace to be with us in this sacred space, this circle that we create all around the world of those who are willing and able to turn away fully from what doesn't work and to focus on what does work. God's love, God's laws, God's protection. I invite you to bring your awareness to your breathing. See if you can make a sound as you breathe in and out through your nose. You reach your tongue just behind your two front teeth. Constraining the muscles of your throat, breathe in, make a sound. And out through your nose, make a sound. Good. Stay with it. In and out through your nose. Letting all things be exactly as they are. Infusing your cells with new energy, grounding out any extra thinking, any extra concern. Gently pull your navel up and in, sitting up a little taller. Just keep your breath moving in and out. And see if you can get your breath louder than your thoughts. So that all you hear in between your ears is that beautiful sound of so on the inhale and hum on the exhale. So hum, I am my breath. Stay with it just a little bit longer. In through your nose. Out through your nose. Soften any tension around your heart. I am my breath. I am God. I am an extension of light. Any other definition of you, now leaving your field. Asking that all of us here on the live, in the room, and all that watch this, moving forward, know and embrace the fact that your part, my part, our part is essential in God's plan for the salvation of the world. Let us be the instruments we were designed to be, asking that God plays us in a beautiful harmony as we manifest heaven on earth. As you're ready, bring your hands together in front of your heart. One more deep breath all together. The light in me bows and honors the light in you. And in that place, we are one. Namaste. Namaste. Beautiful friends. Wow. Breath all together. I just muted somebody. Hi, guys. Hi. Let me remove my pin so I can see all your faces. How was that? That was a pretty good one, wasn't it? Thumbs up. That was a pretty good one, wasn't it? Here we go. Really feeling all of the things, really feeling excited, really feeling like, we've been focusing so much, well, at least I have, and some of us in as we've been coming to these circles, been focusing so much on like, let me get my computer up, some of the things that are bugging us and some of the things that might not be going well, or some of the relationships that have been difficult and some of the stuff with the diet, like all of the things. And I realized in the last, couple days, how much love there is actually happening. I want to focus on that today. I want to focus on all of the messages that I get each and every day from people that are like, oh my God, thank you so much. I could read them to you, but I just want you to know that anytime somebody writes me with a message, I got a 3-page letter from somebody in Austria recently that was just like, so beautiful and so loving. And it always happens this way that like at the same time, I want to focus on all of the messages that I get. I need to fix that. But at the same time that I get like this beautiful message, I still tend to attract a message that's not in the same frequency. And I don't know if you guys have had these experiences ever where it's like, wow, thank you so much. And then the next one is like, And it just doesn't make sense because here we are, like really all of us just putting our attention in this direction. And we want more love. We want more light in our lives. We want all of the gifts that were designed for us. And we're practicing discernment, aren't we? We're discerning. We're like, wait a second. Okay, this is working. This isn't working anymore. But then once you have that discernment, it's kind of tricky because then you have to make decisions based on that. Because the more that you realize something's not working for you, you got to like do stuff about it because you're responsible for your life, right? You get to make the choices. You get to create the life that you want to live. Well, yesterday I had one of these really prime moments, and I'll share it with you briefly, as brief as I can, because it was this dichotomy so clear. And God was giving me this opportunity to really decide, where am I going to put my energy? What do I want to focus on? What vibration do I want to live in? What frequency do I want to play at? And here's the story. Where am I going to put my energy? We have a beautiful friend, whoever is just going to, what frequency do I want to play on? And here's the story. Do you guys hear that? We have a beautiful friend.
Yeah, it's coming from Kathleen. Kathleen, if you can hear us, please mute your mic.
Here we go. I can hear too. Okay, got it. So let me set up this. Oh, good, sweetheart. I'm so excited to hear from you guys and to learn about you guys. I'm going to keep it short so that we get everybody to share a little bit today. But here's what happened. You know, we have a beautiful family here, and hopefully one of them is going to pop into our show. Pop into our show today. And so we had one of them come over, and my daughter was here, and she was doing like some henna tattoos for my little daughter, and they were playing, and I was preparing like mango slices, getting stuff in the dehydrator, and it was just a really fun little afternoon. It was super peaceful. She had some nice music on, and then it was time for this birthday party that my friend was hosting here at our house. And I basically like had checked my phone and was like, oh, I'm going to reach out to one of my kids' friends and say, hey, do you want to come over this week? Let's plan it. And she wrote me back right away and said, I'm really sorry, but I've been watching your YouTube videos and I don't trust my children with you. It's like, oh, are you guys there? Everybody's kind of frozen. I was like, oh, okay. And I felt the pang. I felt it. It wasn't as strong as it's been in the past, but I took a deep breath and I was like, okay. And then maybe 15 minutes later, my other friends from Michigan who are more in our community and doing the work that we all love, you know, like having the conversations that all of us love. And they showed up, and they have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. And this 2-year-old and I are like best friends. I love this little lady. She is just a precious creation. And she's walking me around the house, and we're playing. And I'm kind of just feeling like, okay, it's so clear, isn't it? It's like people from all over the world, you guys, I've been really blessed since I was 24. People from all over the world have like taken airplanes to come and hang out and like do yoga trainings and stuff like that. And it's been a real privilege. It really is. And it's still happening. I mean, I was in Ohio for a long time in just a small town, and people would come from like Norway and Thailand and, you know, just all over the place. And now here we have, you know, Claudia here from Germany and San Diego, and Eugene's here from Korea, and now these friends from Michigan, and now all of you guys. And so people have been coming for a long time. And I guess I've always taken it for granted that this work is good and holy, you know, and righteous. I just always figured that's what it was because people kept coming for it. But now that we've taken it to this level of accountability, where once you know something, you've got to kind of like do something about it. And a lot of peeps resisting that because it is so hard sometimes to make those changes in our lives. But the people that tend to resist us are the ones that just, they can't see it yet. And my beautiful friend Kira said, it's like, they just can't see it yet. And that's okay. I get that. I'm all about it. But my message to all of us today is that when you have this discernment, is just to keep turning your face towards what's working. Just keep turning your face towards the people that love you just the way you are, without any condition. And that's what I've been loving so much about this community that we're building, that because we've seen some of the worst stuff and we've gone through, this experience together, we don't have to have any filters on, do we? And it's not hard to be in each other's presence. It really isn't. Like, we have this family down here and it's so easy. We have the same philosophy on, the children, on the food, on the world, on the new earth, on all of the things that are so important to all of us. And that, for me, friends, is the crux of unity consciousness. Unity consciousness is not this separation of thoughts, of thinking, and of hearts, okay? Because so many of us have lived our lives like that. We've been told that we should just love everybody as they are. True. But just if you're sitting in an environment where your heart center is like going off, we've all been there, right? You're kind of getting like alarm bells off, like something's not right. You're not speaking because you're afraid you might say something that might hurt somebody's feelings. And so you're kind of just like sitting there politely. Energetically, that just wasn't working for me anymore. It was too much. It was just too much. It was just too difficult. And for us, unity consciousness is understanding all of the things so that when we are together, we can sink into our hearts. Are you with me? Some thumbs up. I have everybody frozen on my screen. That's really what I'm feeling so much these days, that like, I just want to be in my heart and not have to worry about filters or protecting myself or saying something that hurts someone's feelings or anything like that. I just want to be at one with each other. And for me, that's what unity consciousness is about. It is about, like-mindedness, and it is about like-heartedness. And so much of what we've been taught to do, friends, so much of it is to know things in our hearts that are true, but not to share them. And to hold it back because you didn't want to hurt someone's feelings or offend somebody's way of life. And the deeper cut here, guys, is that you're not offending the people you love, but their egos are going to be really upset. And that's what's happening here. That's all that's happening. Are you with me? So the work for us is to stay calm. Okay, this is happening. Somebody just wrote me that said they don't want me to be with their kids. They don't want their kids to be in my presence. And then somebody else took 2 airplane rides, crossed a border, and brought me their 2-year-old. And we delighted in the moment and in all of the miracles that were happening. Bubbles and, just like, oh my gosh, like the presence of a 2-year-old is such a blessing. And so it really comes down to, where am I going to put my energy? The people that love me or the people that don't? Or that say they do but don't like the way that I talk? And that's okay. Like, I'm just getting to a place where, like, I love to be in this consciousness with you guys. I really do. And I feel like this discernment it's not about being divisive. It's about being discerning. It's about like, look, my energy is so sacred. And I'm healing my inner child stuff. I'm healing all of my woundedness and all of my traumas from the last 7 generations and for the last 7 generations in front of me. So what's happening right now in my reality is immense. Right, Aaron? That's the word from last week. It's immense. It's so immense. It's cellular, it's energetic, it's physical, it's mental, it's emotional. And those of us with little kids, we got all of their emotional stuff too that we're managing. And if you guys have pets, you got their stuff, and you've got partners and families, and we all have so much that we're sorting through right now. But it all comes down to trust. It all comes down to, do I trust my creator to solve all of the problems? Or do I reserve some just for me? And this is the opportunity we have right now. Am I willing to give this to God? Do I trust that God is good? Even if the answer to my prayer isn't what I wanted it to be. Because a lot of times that's what happens. You ask for something and you wanted it in a blue package, and next thing you know, it's green with, polka dots. You like my polka dots? And you're like, wait a second here, I wanted a green package. And God's like, well, you know what? I gave you what you needed, not so much what you wanted. We've all heard that one. I gave you what you needed. And you're like, but and God's like, yeah, but I can see it. I got this vision. I got this like massive vision, this bird's eye vision. I'm soaring above. Like I've had these visions of like, I can see it. I can see it. Yay. And that's how God wants us to be, this level of just total trust. Even when the shit hits the fan and it gets all funkalicious and weird stuff is happening, we are ascending. And this is not a joke, guys. I'm telling you, I can feel it and I can see it. We're literally lifting. And by the matrix standards, it looks totally crazy. It looks totally insane. It's supposed to, because it's the exact opposite of the matrix. It's supposed to look crazy. How could it be just a little bit different? It has to be 100% different. It has to be a full inversion. And so this is what we're doing. And as we're ascending, literally God is like, smoothing things out, and people are falling out of your life like crazy. And that's okay. Relationships are changing. The way that you operate with your business and your partners and your children, it's just so many things are changing. And the opportunity all of us have really is to just keep trusting it's all for the good. It's all for the good. It really is, because once you're aligned to that and you're not asking God like just now and then for support, you're asking that you are literally an instrument. There's nothing left of me. Please, I am kind of a cuckoo girl. So let's just clear all this stuff out and just play me like a clarinet. Whatever needs to happen, I'm open. Because left to my own devices, my plan doesn't work. It never does, and it never has. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Because it's so much more fun to be in alignment to God. It really is. Even though it's well, you can't have this and you can't have that. Well, the Matrix will say that. The Matrix is going to try and convince you that your life is going to be terrible if you trust God with your finances. You trust God with your living situation. You trust God with your diet. You trust God with your marriage. You trust God with your kids. The Matrix is going to say, no, you shouldn't do that. You need to plan. You need to strategize. But the lesson of the day really is that God's plan for the salvation of the world is going to work because it's God's plan, and God is the creator. And it's so much easier. So much easier. And all of us, all we need to do is keep turning our face to the light. It doesn't mean that we're not looking at the dark. It means we're looking through the dark. And we're saying it doesn't have power over us anymore. I'm not trying to make peace with the Matrix. Why would I do that? That makes no sense. I'm not trying to fit in anymore. I'm not trying to get everybody to like me anymore. I have people all over the world that love me. And what do I need to do? Be grateful for that. So thank you, each and every one of you. That's my riff for today. Thank you so much for really all the love, because this is doing this type of work publicly was really easy in my own little circles with the 10 women. We were really into it and all that. But now it's I feel like I'm open to just all sorts of crazy ass stuff coming out. It's on YouTube, and, people aren't necessarily, doing the work. So they're not receiving the level of benefits that we are. And one of those benefits is this massive clarity, isn't it? This you can kind of see things in a way that you couldn't see a few months ago. And even when they're hard, you can still see them and you can move through those hard times. But, people that are in training and doing this work and things like that, we're getting these benefits and we're celebrating them together. But if someone randomly from the outside comes in here, they're going to see something very different, aren't they? But my function and my purpose of doing these things live, for as long as it makes sense, is this. I wanted to make this accessible. And look what's happening. More and more people are coming. And yes, there's some pain moments and there's some people falling away. But the bottom line is that we're here for each other. And this is what unity consciousness feels like. You can't think your way into this. Thinking is of the ego. Consciousness is from yourself, from God. And consciousness has the answers. The ego's function is to make sure you don't walk into a fire over a bridge. It wants to protect the body. But generally, this type of information fries it so much. So we need to love on our own egos, and that's what you've all done. Each and every one of you that has spent at least one day just on juicing, half a day just on juicing, has faced your demons. You faced it, didn't you? You went, oh God, there you are. And that's awesome, because we've got to be warriors right now. We've got to be, and it doesn't mean we're mean. These types of warriors, us type of cats, we're here to stand up for mankind. And if we don't, I don't really know who's gonna. And each and every one of you raised your hand and were like, okay, I'll be, a flute. I'll be a trumpet. I'll be the drums in this incredible symphony that God is putting together to get us out of this craziness. Anyone in the matrix, tell me, are you truly happy? Are you truly feeling the peace of God for more than 5 minutes in a day? Because this work is about feeling it in stretches, in long, juicy stretches. This is our natural state of being that we are returning to. We are turning away from what doesn't work towards what does. And that is the journey of man. And this is what this is about. And anyone who says that you're divisive or anything else, that's okay. But I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I love you. Thank you, Kira, for blessing me with that prayer. And thank you to each and every one of you that send me messages and all of these things, because these days, it's like, I keep saying it, but it does feel like the dial keeps getting turned up, doesn't it? And there's a lot more refining. A lot of you have lost really dear family members, and so have I, and it's heartbreaking. But remember, every time your heart breaks, it's a good thing, more light. And however this thing plays out on the flip side, it's okay. Because look, we need to trust that we have each other. Someone said to me recently, when this thing blows up, none of those people are going to be there for you. And I love you, and that's why I'm saying this. And I know that was absolutely the intention. I love you, and I just want to protect you because I'm scared for you, and I love you, and I get it, and I honor that, and I'm thankful for it. I really am, because this is crazy shit. You're right. It is crazy. I'm talking about Hitler now. I mean, God, this thing has just taken on a level of just so much. And I get it. And I love you. And I thank you to all the people who have reached out to me and said, I think you're losing it. Focus on your own health and your family. And you're right. I need to focus on my own health and my family. And I am. But this community is saving my life. You want to know why? Because you're giving me a reason to up it and live my life rather than to spend my life half dead and acidic and scared and trying to make peace with things that never made any sense anyway since the time I was little. We're learning how to be alive. And one of the things that happened is I got off this conversation and I had 3 messages from our family and a knock on the door from that beautiful little 2-year-old who just loves me. She just loves me. You know how good that feels? That's what we're talking about. And that's what we're doing here. And if this doesn't resonate with you or whatever, then just don't watch. Why put yourself through it? But this happened to a lot of us when we started watching this stuff and we started opening up to this stuff, what really happened? What really happened was that you surrendered everything you thought you knew to be true. Everything. Everything you thought was true. You surrendered it for 5 minutes here, 15 minutes here. And then you closed it and you kind of went like, that just can't be true. There's just too much. And then the next day you were kind of drawn back to it and you're like, oh, that's how it was for me. And the next thing I knew, I was like, I have to talk to those people. I need to get on the phone with those people. I don't know why. Those people seem to be like my people. They get me. They get me. And they love me just the way I am. And I really appreciate that from each and every one of you. And how, again, like I said, however it plays out, if we, the blessing is that we're all together. And I really believe that's what we're working towards. And that's what I'm witnessing in this moment in time. I'm witnessing it. And the feeling of it is so divine. And it's a miracle because God wants us to know that that's what we deserve. That's who we are. I opened the Course in Miracles. It says, I am the light of the world. And I could list 15 people who don't think I'm the light of the world. But God's telling me, you're the light of the world. I'm telling you, you're the light of the world. Who says you're not? Your ego, the part of you that's connected to being liked and right by all your friends and all your family, right? But if God tells you you're an instrument, that's what we're correcting here. It's an identification issue. Who are you? Who are you? You're a child of God. That's the answer. It's that simple. And the last thing, hopefully, I want to say for this one is this. If you know something is true in your heart, don't let anyone convince you it's not. Because your heart and my heart, in that place, we're one. Okay? That's the place that we're one. When we know the truth in our heart. That's where we're one. We're not one in just accepting, all of the different things anymore. That never really got any of us anywhere other than being sick and uncomfortable in all of these functions. This is about connecting to each other through the heart. And if something's not working, it's because God is trying to create space for something better. I have a client friend who left with the son, I think I shared this, who I was like the godmother. And through all of this information, thought I lost my mind and didn't want to have anything to do with me anymore. And then somebody else showed up with the son, same age, same name. That's how God works. Okay, it's just rearranging things for the highest for you and for everybody, because we're all assignments in each other's lives. And some assignments are harder than others, aren't they? Some tests are really hard. But we're here to love on each other and to be assignments. So even if it's a rough or if it's a breakup or whatever it is, it's all for the highest. And we just need to trust 100% that God's plan is going to work for us in our lives and in the lives of others, given they want it. Given they want it, because it all comes back to what you want. I know what I want. I want a lot of really beautiful little children around. Little angels, and a lot of fruit trees, some flowers, some gardens, and some incredible beings of light that heard the call and showed up and are putting their attention and direction towards ascension, healing, and heaven. All right? That's what I have to say right now. It's a little bit frozen for me, so let me see. How's that? Anybody who wants to chime in? You guys good?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear. I'll chime in real quick.
Super. Hi, Justin.
Hey.
Hello.
Yes. So just on the sort of surrender and letting God lead, one thing that's always helpful for me is to just remember, because we are all one, because we're all connected with God, that our highest self is God. And so when we truly surrender to that flow, our highest self is always going to lead us to that exact place where we truly want to go. It's not a separate entity that's leading us to somewhere that we might not know. We know in our heart where we want to go. We just kind of forgot. We kind of misremembered. So it's all about just that
One thing,
trust, like you said, to trust and allow that highest self to lead us, to allow God to lead us, because it's exactly where we wanted to go before we forgot. And so it just kind of helps to recalibrate and remember that that's always going to be the space where we are led. So yeah, that was kind of that thing. And then when you mentioned earlier about getting comments and having negative, and like a really positive comment followed by a negative comment, and then you said that makes no sense. Well, it actually makes perfect sense, because your reaction to the negative comment means that you need to have more of those until you're in that space of non-reaction. And where it gets even harder, where it gets even trickier, is having that non-reaction even on the positive comments. We can still experience emotion and allow ourselves to consciously feel emotions. But if we're reacting, even in a quote unquote positive way, we're still allowing the unconscious mind to steer us. So anytime where we receive these examples where we are reacting unconsciously, whether it's perceived as positive or negative, it doesn't matter. We're still going to be given more opportunities, because they're all opportunities, more opportunities to be in that space of the observer and be in that non-reactive, non-reactionary space. So it's all perfect. Everything is perfect. There's nothing that's left up to chance. It's all exactly as it needs to be in the exact appropriate measure that it should be. Yeah, just wanted to say that.
Beautiful, Justin. And it's healing, like, because there is still this part of me that's like, there is that reaction. There is that like, and that's the healing process, I think, also that's happening for me and for a lot of us. And I like how you said that, not having the reaction to the positive statements, but I love them. And they feed me.
Yeah, you
They
get
feed
to
me.
love them, but don't rely on them, because if you're relying on something external, then there's still more work to do. So
Totally.
it's like it's consciously emoting, so consciously loving those things without that reactionary, oh, this makes me feel so good, without there even being like a conscious part of it. It's trickier. I think that aspect is way harder than even non-reacting to the negative, quote unquote, negative stuff. But it's still part of that learning process of just being that absolute observer. And then you do get to just enjoy fully without that sort of ping of that left brain trying to drive us into reactions.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that left brain. That's what was so amazing about being with this 2-year-old and just being like in the present and like just kind of watching how she was operating her time, just so playful and so curious about things, and that's it's just, yeah, it was a real blessing to see what happens when you're kind of in that space of love, all of the miracles that are occurring. But the left brain doesn't want you to see all those. It wants you to analyze. It wants you to kind of like psych out of that and not to appreciate, the miracle of the birds singing, the vibration of a tree, the feel of the breeze on the cheeks. Like, those are the things that for me can really bring me into that place of remembering who I truly am and what my function is here and how I can be of service outside, the dramas that tend to be playing out. Just to really stay focused on that has been my learning these last couple of weeks. Who am I? Who does God say I am? All right, who's next?
jump in real quick.
Okay, Aaron, and then Lonnie, and then I'm just going to call on Joel because I want to meet him. I haven't met him yet. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be quick because there's a lot here, and so glad to see everybody here. It's beautiful to share the space and hold the space for us every week. Beautifully said, Justin. It is it's that observer that we've not really gotten tuned to growing up in this fun experiment that we chose to come down in really started at birth, and having some experiences through life might give you that, kind of stand back and look at things in a bigger picture. But that's where we're coming to, where it is truly being a 100% observer in every moment, even in the good. Having people that love us and doing things out of love doesn't always make it right. And the reaction that we've built, that we just have habits of doing, and breaking those habits is, the hard thing that we're coming through. But having the food and the community around us is allowing us to really find that space in a holistic way, so we're not misdirected like we were before. So it's just beautiful to be here.
Thanks, Erin. I agree. It's a love fest. Today's about the love. Observing how loved we are. Lonnie, you want to chime in?
Yeah, and being open to the love that is there for us, that we are deserving, we are worthy, just open to it, embrace it, and just be in it. Be in it, be in those moments of feeling. And if ever in doubt of anything, defer to the children. Go and find a child to observe. That will heal us all, right? So for me, it's always all about the children. Like, I don't know if that's okay for me to share, Marie, but our daughters, Marie's daughter and my daughter, they're both the same age, and we had a virtual play date on the weekend, and they had so much in common. My daughter was just getting so excited, and so was Ruby, about how much they had in common. Like, their birthday is one day apart. They're the same age, same hair color, same length of hair. They both can't read or write quite yet.
Nail polish.
The nail polish, they showed up both having red nail polish. Like, it was just on and on and on. And these girls were just so excited to connect. And that's what it's like. Find the people you have things in common with, and let all else fall away. We shouldn't be trying to force relationships that we feel, but this has to work, but this is, whatever. You'll never get anywhere. It's such a waste of our precious energy than to just be going with the flow. The new series that I just started with my kids this weekend, the Children's Bible School, I did a little talk in there about that, about going in a way that's just so hard, and you're fighting for it because something shiny might be, getting your attention and distracting you. And, you're trying so hard to go in that way, but you're never going to reach it. And you're not seeing anything else. Whereas if you turn this way and just go into the flow of things, then you'll see all the beauty and all the beautiful things in the moment. Don't let it pass you by, right? It's right now. So first, hopping on here today and seeing all these faces, and it's been such a pleasure getting to know almost half of you here in this Zoom. Outside of this Zoom, like, we're Facebook friends, so seeing each other's posts and maybe having little chats here and there. It's such a pleasure, and build it and they will come, right? So if we are being our authentic selves, inevitably we're going to continue attracting people like this and going into communities and living with each other. Like, can you just imagine for a moment the people we have here in this Zoom room? Okay, if we were all living together on some land right now, right? What would everybody be bringing, right? Like, everybody has something to be bringing. Sabina, she would guide us all in fasting and juicing. And then Alan, maybe teaching us some boxing skills and things about juicing as well. Then of course there's Justin and Patrick. Sarah, she'd be playing with all of our kids and teaching them some good things, right? And Barbara, oh my gosh, she would be making us these beautiful, you can experiment on us, these beautiful raw foods and meals. Like, amazing the things you're doing, girl. I'm just like blown away. And then Kasri, like, I just bringing everybody together. What a beautiful thing that would be, wouldn't it? That's all I have to say for now. Marie, you have a beautiful friend there with you. Is this the one with the 2-year-old?
Lonnie, thank you so much for really pointing out like the gifts of the community. And the other thing is like connecting with people that you resonate with and that excite you and that have like give you interesting conversations. And this guy is definitely somebody who like I love so much. And this is their second trip down to Mexico, and I'm going to give it to him in just a second. But it's amazing what Joe and his family, like how just they are and how amazing it is to meet another family who's trying to get their kids like fully frugivore and, you know, to have that experience. And yeah, so he has the 2-year-old I was telling him about.
Yeah.
Willow, who I love so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you want to just kind of chime in? This is Joe, you guys.
Hi, everybody. It's great to see everybody. And it's funny because I normally am in home in the States. So at this time I'm typically working. So I always catch up on the call, but it's always whenever I can do it. So it's fantastic to be on it. It was funny when she asked me to do this yesterday. I was like, well, yeah, I can actually do it now because I'm here in Mexico and we're not working. And so, you know, one thing as far as like bringing some information at the group, I was trying to think about where to go. And Marie, a lot of times when I come down, I'm like information overload. I'm one of those where when I get on something I want to go into because I want to learn about it. And the big thing that opened up my eyes was we had been listening to Charlie Freak since kind of the beginning when everything happened with the pandemic. And then, you know, really talk about a complete 180 as far as lifestyle. We're living in Michigan. We were eating kind of a primarily vegetarian based diet, but we had tried with some vegan, but really kind of the false veganism as far as like a lot of processed foods, not real energetic foods. And in the meantime, we were trying to get on fruits, do more heavy fruits. And then, you know, Dr. Morris was really a big life changer for us. If anyone here has not listened to his Dr. Morris, The Great Lymphatic System, it's about an hour and 3 minutes long, and it will explain the process in one of the most beautiful ways ever. And it's purely, you know, whatever realm you want to talk about it on, it's chemistry, it's energy, it's divine being. And his interpretation of our diet in this chemical form is phenomenal. And that was really a life changer for me because it really opened up my eyes. And from that day forward, when I heard that video, I stopped drinking coffee. I went on a 6.5 week, just all fruit. And it was tough because obviously you're breaking those salt cravings, everything like that. But, you know, the change in energy is phenomenal, but it's funny too, because as you start to transform and get to that higher level, you can feel the change in your energy when you actually start to eat foods that aren't energetic to you. And I think that's where we have to look at this as a community, is that if we raise our energy just on our foods, like just imagine where things can go. And it's still a ways away because we can't just say like this, we're going to be all frugivores right away, because there's so many tempting things. And we're transitioning just like the world is right now, and just like thinking is, and that, you know, truth is coming out, and, you know, we're figuring out these things that have really been hidden from us. But, you know, it really comes back to creation and God. And, you know, Dr. Morris explains it, and that every single one of you is a tropical being. There's no doubt about that. And if you even Google "are human frugivores?" Google will tell you that humans are frugivores, right? You know, National Geographic. I mean, if you look at us compared to, you know, monkeys or apes, I mean, we are, you know, 98% genetically alike, and apes are frugivores. And somebody would say, oh, well, they eat different things and bugs and this and that. And that's because just like us, we've migrated, they have too, because we've taken over their lands, and their primary food source is fruits. And even too, if you think of it simplistically, of like kids who don't know any different, you know, you put a table of fruits out and you put a table of veggies out, and you open up a door of a bunch of kids to go in that room, and they are going to go right to the fruits. And you have to think of it too, as far as, you know, herbivores. I mean, we are not herbivores, so we can eat those type of things, but those are not meant for our digestion. So, and yes, those are good building products, but what we're looking for is energy. And really, when you get down to the cellular level, you know, everybody talks about, you know, you've got keto, you've got all these fad diets, but every single cell, and like Dr. Morris says, you've got 10 trillion cells and 2 fluids, and that's as simple as it is. And you supply those cells with the energy they need, which is monosaccharides, it's sugar. Everything is going to come from sugar. It doesn't matter. If you take in protein, you will not use that as protein as energy. You are going to convert that back to sugar via gluconeogenesis, which is done by the liver. And then that starts to tax the liver. And so I mean, you just need to understand that we've been, brainwashed to think that this is what we need. Because if, think this way too, when you're like, oh, when somebody said this to my son the other day, he wasn't eating his food and said, you need to eat that food for energy. And it was something that wasn't, I don't think it was fruit. I think it was something else, but it was a protein main source. And I said, that's not true at all. Because eating protein for energy is one of the dumbest things you can think of. Proteins, if anything, are for building their amino acids. That'd be like tearing down the walls of your room and setting it on fire because you need to stay warm. Like, you don't take apart your structure, right? You simply give it the energy source that it needs and it will flourish. And that's, and the key thing that I wanted to come with today is that if you think you're on the diet and you want to go there, the first thing you need to do is you need to check to see if your kidneys are filtering. And if your kidneys are not filtering, then you are not basically expelling your waste, because every single cell, those 10 trillion cells, all eats and poops just like you do. And so if you don't see metabolic waste in your urine, that's more motivation to get on the fruits, because you have to start to move the lymph. You need to start to filter your kidneys. And you can go to the doctor. He's not going to tell you if your kidneys are filtering. You urinate in a jar first thing in the morning. You put it in the refrigerator, let it sit for 24 hours. And if you have sediment in it, then you can say, I'm good. And if you don't, then you really have to check yourself and say, all right, I've got to change what I'm doing. Because if it's not a problem now, it's going to blow back on you later on. And you're going to start to see things surface. And then we start to see things surface on the skin, right? The kidneys aren't filtering. You've got a third kidneys. You're going to start to see rashes. You'll see abscess, things like that. Your body will expel the waste. Your body's always cleaning. And if you got to think of it that way, that the body's always cleansing, always cleansing. And the one thing that allopathic standard medicine does not know is the word detoxification. And that's because they use disease as a way to treat, which is just a group of symptoms. And then they give it a disease terminology. That's why with COVID-19, why they called it a disease, because it gave them the rights to treat the disease and the symptoms, right? And you saw them censoring information on the internet. No, you can't use vitamin D. You can't do this. This won't make you healthy. And that was just because that's just a corrupt system. And we know that. I mean, the truth is right in front of us. It's simply there. And so can't tell if Marie's laughing at me because, but it's just, I mean, you have, it's so simple. You can try to make it more complex by saying, well, I can eat this and I can eat that, and you can eat whatever you want. And if you break your diet, make it simple, right? Say, hey, I'm going to get back on it, right? And start with, go mono, say I'm going to eat just grapes for today, or I'm going to do just orange juice, or I'm going to just do this. And like, even though you have some fallback on some things, don't be upset about it. Don't say, oh gosh, I cheated now. Like now I'm and the other thing that you have to think about is where we're at is, if you understand the true essence of consciousness, which is your being, when you shut your eyes, that is your consciousness. When the physical form, the chemical form goes away, right? Where do we go? That's within our consciousness. And you have to understand that our consciousness is now, right? There is no duality in pure consciousness, right? So there's not a good and a bad, right? There's not a male and female. There's no masculine and feminine. We are all one. And what you need to understand too is that consciousness that you see, when you can really fully invoke that consciousness, you start to take the brain away. And the brain is great for thinking. And when we start to think, though, we start to go down the road of academia. And then that's where we get into all these lost concepts of, oh, we should be doing this, and science says this. And it's like, it's simple. Humans are supposed to be eating fruits. And we can simply just start to do it with, adding it in with, always break your fast with fruits in the morning. Always add fruits into your first meal of the day. And if you do a salad later on, that's fine. You can do veggies, but if you start to go more veggies than fruits, you're just going to slow the detox, right? If you want to get higher into your detox, you start to go into primarily fruits, and then you go into juices, and then you can start to get into dry fasting and water fasting and whatever you feel is necessary. But I mean, it's fantastic to see such a movement and to meet people down here. I mean, to meet a guy who hasn't drank water in 3 years is fantastic. I mean, and you just see the hydrating level of fruits, and because water, if you're like, I drink water all day long, water will only hydrate the blood. All right. Well, we need to hydrate the interstitial, because the blood is a water-based system. Your lymphatic system is a lipid-based system, and that's what's going to get you into starting to move your lymph. So you can drink water, you can drink water, you can drink water. And what you're going to end up finding out is that, yes, you're going to just urinate that all out. And is that going to help filter you? A little bit, but what's going to really filter you is when you start to move that waste, which is all being dumped in your lymphatic system. And that's the key. But the key to the lymphatic system is the kidneys. And it doesn't matter where else you look, because all the other things too will start there. And then you'll start to progress into problems in other systems. The adrenal glands are going to regulate everything else. But yeah, I mean, it's fantastic to see so many people really, truly finding the truth. And you know, I have an education. I went to university, I have all that type of stuff. I didn't learn any of the stuff that I learned in the last year. And it just made me realize that everything I learned was just a bunch of crap, you know, and we all did. But it's great to see that people are waking up to the true reality of what our inner being and our essence really is, and how we can make heaven on earth simply by eating the right things.
Yeah. Wow, it's so beautiful. Right, guys? These are the new friends coming down. And he can riff like that on any topic you give him. So that was just like the fruit and health one. We could give him flat earth. We could give him what else? I mean, just, it's so much fun. And we had this amazing conversation in the pool the other day. And I was just like looking around at the palm trees and everything. And I was like, this is it. This is what we're doing. You know, the kids are running. Who wants juice? You know, it's just so much fun, guys. So I'm glad that.
Well, and a lot of people in the, a lot of people in the northern climates, like, you know, everyone's like, oh, you know, we live here, but look up the average lifespan of an Eskimo, right? You talk about where we've migrated to, right? All they eat is protein, right? I've anywhere from 42 years old to 6 years old. You can't live off protein. It's just not good for you, you know? And we're supposed to be down in the tropics. And when you get down here and you start to feel the energy and the energy of just the water and the air, it'll revive your essence in a matter of a second.
Yeah, it's immediate. It's immediate. Swimming in the ocean. We're having fun, guys. We're getting ready for you all. We're getting ready for you. Joel, I want to meet you. I don't even think we've ever connected on social even. So if we have, let me know. But I'm excited to see some of you new friends. How's it going?
So good. Yes, thank you. Yeah, we haven't met, and I appreciate the space you've created here. It's really cool to watch your shows, and I've been playing catch up. I kind of jumped into this world a couple months ago. I appreciate everything that Charlie and Colleen have done, and you guys have supported, and it's just so powerful. It's really changed my life dramatically, and my life's been incredible for a long, long time. I've been doing really unique work on the shamanic side of things with gazing, not only with the sun, but you know, when you can learn to stay in silence for long durations of time, really powerful things happen. And you can use the rain or the fog or the stars or the sky to move into really altered states in which to have that more direct communication with the mother, really, because this is her realm, right? And that especially when the light of God is on the water and you're able to stay and watch and observe the light and enter that light and become that light, you know, then a lot of transformation happens within your being, which really leads to lucid dreaming. And so shamans do end up frugivores eventually, but they're in a misunderstanding around it. So they wait until they're masters at sun gazing, until they get enough luminosity, enough power from the sun that they can walk away from those types of foods. And so I was in that direction, but hooking up with you guys got me, in a totally different focus. So I've been raw vegan now for about 6 weeks. I feel incredible. I'm trying to figure out a way to, get out of. I do have an amazing job, but there's still aesthetic aspects to it that I'm trying to transcend. And so I love hearing about the kids. I teach children Aikido. It's really beautiful, just like at 5 and up, and teaching them to find their center, and the meditation in the beginning with kids is the best part, but just, making it playful and getting them to really discover their body as a beautiful vehicle in which they can explore and interact with all the elements. Like we teach how to move with the spirit of water, with the spirit of fire, with the spirit of the ether, with the earth, like how to ground, how to be connected and use your tree roots and go all the way down to the earth and fully connect. And so yeah, I'm just so stoked for all of you that you've all found each other, and I'm happy to have found you as well. And really appreciate just all of your capacity to heal yourself, to purify. I focus on recapitulation. You learn to get into silence. You set up a memory. You return to that memory in total, and you draw back your essence, and you give back anything that you took on from others. And you release and purify your cells, and your cells become very happy. And that happiness, transforms your life, and that magnetism just continues to expand and change you. So that's my share, and so cool to meet all of you, and thank you for doing this.
I think Marie is off here, but if anybody else has anything to say, just unmute yourself and go ahead.
Oh, Joel, thank you. Wow. Thank you for reminding me about the power of sun gazing and that deep connection with nature. There are some of you in our community that are wonderful teachers for that. I used to do sun gazing, and I haven't in a while. So you've reignited that in me. And I am in this collective with this world, this really potent energy healer teacher. Like, she's achieved that state of oneness, and she's on this silent retreat, and she's sending us these guided sort of transmissions every few days, and her whole thing is the purification process. So when you said the purification, like, I went, oh my God, that's what this teacher is telling us, and to purify. And I just went through I just fired my life coach, who turns out he was a vampire. That's the term we're using these days, but he's a narcissist, and he was so charming, and he was so good at what he did. And he really got me, like, narcissists can really get you. And he was good. And he actually helped me have these breakthroughs. But then all of a sudden the red flags came, and I went, oh my God, it was only 4 sessions, and it was enough for me to realize. So I just cut him off. And as soon as I cut him off, his darkness came out, like the demon in him came out. Oh, he was really, really angry and manipulating and trying to, it was really epic. It just happened. It was bam, 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 just happened this morning. And I connected with my light worker group. And anyway, we just purged him out. And I'm coming back to, and yeah, giving back his energy and taking mine back, because he had hooked into me. So, okay, no, last time, this might be the last time I ever like this. Hopefully is my last lesson with that energy and getting swayed by them. But yeah, I've been calling back my energy. Like, I was just like stomping, and I was like, yeah, I call back all my energy. I call back all my energy. I call back all my energy. And I send yours back, and I send yours back, and I send yours back. I was just like, whoosh. So it was like so empowering. So I went from like victim mode for like 5 minutes, and I went, no, F this, off you go. So I'm so grateful that you just kind of like brought everything together for me. Like, that's just what I went through. And if it's okay with everyone else, I would just love, Joel, if you would speak a little bit more about that purification process that you have experienced, and you teach it. Where can we find out more?
Yeah, I mean, really, so the way in which I learned this was through these ancient movements that come out of Mexico that are designed to heal the secondary functions of your organs. So we are magical beings. All of our organs perform a beautiful function in this physical reality. In a secondary function, they're magical properties to each organ. So getting the organs to communicate with each other through lucidity, actually learning to go inward to the point that you're communicating with your cells and getting everyone to work together. It's very achievable to have that kind of communication when you're not talking to yourself. But the beginning is these movements that regather your luminosity. They're very strange movements. I think Tai Chi and Qigong would serve the same purpose, but I don't know. These movements lead to a place in which you have enough energy to get quiet enough to recapitulate, which is to really draw your energy back in a purification form. So it is a deep breath work that occurs when you're in total silence that allows you to, you'll feel eventually. The way to start is, say you're going to give something to a thrift store, and you look at it, and it's got your energy all over it because you've been wearing it for 25 years, right? So sit with that garment and take your energy back from it until you notice it will change color. It will change a slight hue. You'll notice that your energy is no longer in that garment. And it's not necessary to do, but once you learn about it and you feel the boost that you get from living that consciously about energy, then it changes your relationship with everything, with people, with your time that you spend doing anything. You become very, focused, because you start to realize what it is that we've been doing all this time and how powerful we are, and that we've just been spreading our energy all over the place unconsciously. And it's okay to do anything in this world. When you're innocent. Innocence is so powerful, right? That it protects us. Like in The Hobbit, it shows that innocence. So the purification journey of these movements are very intense. You can just feel you're reclaiming your luminosity, and you can just start to build and stack this luminosity around the outer edges of your astral cocoon or your torus field. And so you're going to start to feel this massive change. I do it to the point that I can't sleep because I have so much energy. So therefore I've learned to use my downtime for lucidity. So I've learned to shut off my thoughts at night and to cross what are called dreaming gates. So this is all Toltec stuff. But the recapitulation itself is so simple and pure and beautiful, and anyone can do it at any time. At first, it just starts off with just really focusing on taking, any item, taking your energy back from it, and then starting to focus on a sexual partner of the past that you don't want to have ties with anymore. Instead of going to a shaman and getting your cords cut or something, you do the work yourself. It's okay to have somebody to support you, like a shaman. And a good shaman acknowledges that they're not a healer, that they're just there to facilitate. And so it's an entire world of opportunity that the recapitulation offers. When you get, it sounds crazy, but you can recapitulate every memory that you've ever had. And when you do that, you reach what's called the 0 point, and you're no longer operating from the same place of perception that the majority of the world is operating from. You're in a completely altered state all of the time. You live in heightened awareness. You don't come out of it. And that's a big commitment. That's a big journey, right? Because you're no longer, there's nowhere to reach. There's nowhere to hide. You've completely done the work to remove the shields that are keeping you from receiving God's love. And therefore you're completely, fully committed. You're fully engaged. And it's incredible, but it's terrifying. It's absolutely terror, because everything that was keeping you safe was all lies. It was all control, right? And so we are such powerful beings that when we cross into that state, which is called the active side of infinity, right? That's the inner space that Charlie talks about. And when you learn to travel consciously in the active side of infinity, you're going to encounter the most incredible, beautiful energies. And forces are rising to meet each other right now. And that's the way that the system works. And so we are on a path of purification in order to thread through that eye of the needle as these times are bringing us into. And so I'm available to work with people in the recapitulation process. And I do have teachers that I can recommend as well. And Justin has my contact, but if I'm on Telegram and Facebook. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'll be in touch.
Thank you so much, Joel. I'm like so fascinated, so honored. Kasmi, did you want to follow up? Go ahead. Nope.
Sorry. No, I'm good. I'm soaking
Sorry,
it all in. I'm going to be in touch with Joel. I'm really, I feel I found a new process, something I want to take to the next level. I feel there's something here for me. So I'll be in touch. Thank you.
Yeah, me too, Joel. That was beautiful. Thank you for coming in here today and sharing that with us. And I'm trusting that this is the beginning of something really magical for all of us. Joel, did you tell us, are you in Mexico right now? Where are you right now?
No, I'm up in Seattle. I would love to be in Mexico. I finally got my family on board. So we're really trying to like get clear and simple and transition. But I love it up here. Is I know Santos talks shit about Alaska, but Alaska is like the most powerful place on earth for me. And so it's just, for me, it's all perspective. And if you have enough light in your being, you can travel this earth anywhere. And you know, if you don't need a lot of food because of sunlight and stuff, it makes you more capable of you know, sort of holding space in different places of the world that are a little more heavy or intense. But Alaska is actually the youngest part of the earth, right? That's why she's so big. She's in that stage of youth, and it's a really incredible energy to be around. So I go up there a lot. So I like being up here, but my goal is to get down to Mexico. All my teachers are in like California, and some are in Israel and Canada. So yeah, I'm not sure what'll happen, but look forward to connecting more with all of you.
Right on. Thank you for being here. We love you so much already. Isn't that amazing? Lonnie, it's like what you shared, just all of the different people here and what it's all going to be like. We're going to go to school again somehow, but like the school that we wanted to go and learn the things that we wanted to learn. Didn't know until now. All right. Who's next? Who wants to share? Who haven't we heard from? Penny, Carol, Patricia, Sarah, Sabina. Somebody just unmute yourself. Go for it.
I'll just say something really quick, but about love. When you said you wanted to talk about love, I had an interesting week. I've told my parents and my kids that I'll be moving to Mexico, so that was interesting. My father's like, no, you need to settle down. Aren't you coming home to settle down? And I just said, no, I'm not settling down in New Zealand. I'm coming to Mexico. And so that got a bit heated and not very nice. But anyway, my kids are okay about it. And so I was feeling a wee bit down. And then I sat down earlier before lunch and started watching Charlie and Colleen and Justin on the show they just did. Must have been yesterday. And 17 minutes in, they all say, you know, they were all messaging for me and sending me love, and it just blew me away. I just needed it so much, and I just burst into tears and I cried my heart out for a while. And the love is just amazing. I have so much more love from this group than I get from my whole family, from anyone, even my friends. So yeah, there's a lot of love here, and it's wonderful. It just sees you through. It's all we need.
Wow, Penny, thank you for that. It is so healing too to be in the presence of that level of love.
Incredibly.
And to be so receiving.
Yeah.
Penny, I want to say something.
When you have that love, you know, everything flows. Everything that I've been wanting to just do is manifesting very fast. Everything's manifesting. And, you know, everyone told me when my husband passed that couldn't stay here on my own in a foreign country, and the money's just come. Everything's just come. And I don't have any concerns anymore. I can stay here without any problems. So, and Mexico is manifesting rapidly. So I'm really
excited. And you know, she's also a school teacher.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Penny, I mean, I think for you to say that is the truth coming out of you, right? And the truth is love. And
yeah.
You know, when you bring kids into this journey, it's tough because you have this connection with them because obviously they're part of you, but at the same time, everyone's on their own journey. And when you start to deter or change directions on your journey because of your kids, you actually really truly lose your path. And that it sounds selfish, but everybody here is here for a purpose. And that we get so sucked into, well, you need to be a parent, you have to do this. And what about seeing your kids? And it's like, you know what, like that's their journey and everybody needs to do that. And that's where you'll find your satisfaction with yourself when you sit in a room and you're quiet and nothing else is there, that's where you truly find yourself, and yourself is pure love. And that's just amazing to hear your story and just say, hey, this is what I'm doing. And if people are like, you can't do that, it's like, I can do what I want, you know, and so can they. And they just don't have the love to do that yet.
Exactly. And they both know, like, I've been over here 5 years and we've basically had a Skype relationship anyway. I have been home most years, but I've told both of them they're adults and they really don't need me. And if they do, I'm here. Anywhere in the world, I'm here. So it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And if I go home to New Zealand, I'm not going to live with my kids. So it's time to do my thing and live my truth. And the more I give into it, the easier it is all the time, every day. And I have my little mantra sitting here. It's just perfect. Thank you for that, Marie. That came up last week.
That prayer's been so powerful for me. And now that we have Toltec wisdom in the house with Joel, I mean, don't take anything personally.
I don't take anything personally. No, I've had pretty much all my friends here. I've come to the conclusion that it's not going to work. I can't. I just do the things, but I don't really get involved anymore. My closest friends here, they're not going to give up eating meat. So that's, I'm not going to part ways, but I'm just not putting any energy there anymore. Just to myself and getting myself to Mexico as fast as possible. And the kids I work with here are brilliant. They just want to learn. And even the 11-year-old said to me last week, can you teach me the history, like the real history? I said, yeah, what do you want to know? And that's it. And she's just questions all the time. She's just full of wonder. It's amazing. It's great. Not closed off here at all. Really nice. So yeah.
They want to know. The kids want to know.
Yeah. Her mom has a CBD company. So she they use CBD. They have all their lives. They're well into it. So it's really lovely. Yeah. Really lovely.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff, you guys. Barb wants to chime in. Penny, I'm just so into you. Thank you. Come on, Barb, give us some love. And then Patricia and Sabina. Yeah, okay, so Barb, Patricia, Sabina, that's our order right now. Give it to us, lady. I love that you're sitting in the sun. Go ahead and unmute yourself. She's going to be one of our transitional chefs. This gal's amazing with raw food. She's going to help a lot of cats get off the meat, eggs, and dairy. And we're so excited to have Bella in our family.
Sorry, guys. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? All good?
Yes.
Okay.
Woo!
Sorry about that. I have the sun in the screen, so I couldn't see it. Wow, what a great conversation already. I was just thinking here, like I'm turning 50 in 2 days, and like normally somebody would be like almost like dreading it or like thinking, oh my God, I'm so old or whatever. And here I am thinking like I'm a baby. That's how I'm literally feeling right now, because we're literally learning everything all over again. And I just feel like I'm entering a new stage of my life that is like, wow. I'm getting emotional now, sorry. I can feel it. Like I can't express it well, but I feel like I know my purpose now.
Wow.
Yeah. That's the only thing I can tell you is like, I feel now I realize why I'm here, I don't know if that makes sense, but I've always kind of felt like I've had very much power in my words. I've always had, jobs and things that I've been involved in, volunteering, and I've always kind of been the leader or kind of somebody that people tend to put a lot of weight into my words. And when I was younger, sometimes it wasn't good because, again, when you are that way, people will sometimes literally do exactly what you say, which sometimes, you know, if it's not your journey, right? It's their journey. So what I had to learn as I got older was how to sort of temper that and not always give advice freely. So I kind of held stuff back, and that was hard for me because I am the type to be very outspoken and not be the observer. So it's interesting because now I'm finding myself, I want to be the observer. So I know I'm changing, and yeah, and it's great. And now, you know, I feel like when I share with people, it'll have even more impact. So that's where
Thank you so much. We love you, and we're so excited and celebrating
awesome,
your first birthday of the next 50 years. It's your first birthday. Maybe that's why you feel like such a baby. You're just going to learn how to walk now, Barb. One foot in front of the other, how to eat, how to not put your feet in your mouth. You know, you're just blossoming.
I'm having fruit like I'm having fruit just like babies should, right?
Remember when they said, don't give the babies fruit, they won't eat anything else. Like, geez, that was so simple. That's all they wanted anyway. We were trying not to do it. Like, we've been going against the grain. And now this next level, like this next 50 years, is just going with the ease of God, just going with the natural way. It's going to be beautiful. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy you're here. I'm so happy you had a few tears. I'm happy. Go ahead.
Today, I actually put on a pair of pants that I haven't tried on since last spring. And in the spring of last year, like, I could barely get them above my legs. And they were so tight and uncomfortable on my stomach that it was like, ugh. So I didn't even wear them. And so I've never really worn these pants. So today I thought, you know what? I went through my closet yesterday to do the transfer over. And I thought, I'm going to just try them. And I just had to laugh because now they're big. And now I really have to roll them on the waist for me to be able to wear it without the crotch being like really low on me because they're falling. Like, that is crazy to me, you know, and that's less than a year. Like, so yeah, I mean, that's, again, I don't put a lot of importance on the outside because I'm working on the inside, but as you work on the inside, the outside will reflect it. Right. So it's another celebration, you know? So yeah, pretty happy.
Beautiful. We're so excited for you guys. You are all of us. I'm just so excited.
Oh. Believe me, we want to come to Mexico.
We're here. We're talking about it every day. Yeah, just come. Like,
I think that's stopping me is the border because I have a dog and I can't just take a plane because I'm not putting my dog in the, you know, in the, whatever they call it, the bottom there. Like, she wouldn't survive that. She'd have a freaking heart attack. She can't even be in a crate. She would just die. So what's that?
How old is your dog?
She's going to be 7, July 4th. Isn't that interesting? 7.
Well, let's talk about this more because there's always, where there's a will, there's a way. Even like a 2-week something or something like this conversation on Mexico, we're having it every day. It's happening. You know, after this whole miracle of last night, you know, we had this party and it was really sweet. But then everyone left, and then Eugene walked in at the end, and I just like laughed. I don't know why. I was like, I just said we need to juice for the kids, and then Eugene walked in like, hi, I'm here to juice for the kids. It was like, oh my gosh, the miracles right now are just brilliant. And he's such a bright light, you guys. And Claudia, both of them were here with the children this morning, beach life. So we're starting this community thing really impromptu. It's just happening. The kids are on with Lonnie's kids. We're just getting our thing together. And these groups are really powerful too, to just keep us reminded that we're safe here. This family feeling is really what we've all been wanting.
And those of you who are questioning traveling, let me just say this, that don't listen to the news. Don't believe anything that you hear. it's a walk in the park. Yes, you have to play the mask game. I mean, to some extent, you can literally pull it down almost all the time. Like in the planes, they're very lenient about it. Both my kids are 5 and 2, 5 and 2. My 5-year-old's supposed to be wearing one. He didn't wear one the whole time. My daughter didn't wear one. Like that, the stuff that you're seeing on the news and all that, it's just scare tactics. Like if you want to do the trip and you're worried about it, there are ways around it. Do not let the fear stop you to getting where you need to be. Again, if it's just to come and see it, I mean, and the bad thing is if you come and see it, you're never going to want to go back.
Yeah.
His wife was telling me yesterday, just like she was sitting in the night looking up at the stars and the moon and the breeze and the palm trees and just the air. And it's just wonderful to be so surrounded by, nature, God. I forgot who was next. Was it Patricia and Sarah? Patricia? Okay. Go for it. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm so nervous, but thank you so much for hosting and having me here. I'm just trying to my throat chakra is vibrating, and that I realize is needing the most healing. But I don't know where to start, but with so much gratitude and love for everyone. And wow, I've been following since, I guess, back in, almost a year ago with Charlie and Josh, and then you, Marie, came on, and everything that has been shared has been like, wow. How I would love to describe and express how each word, everything that has resonated, but I'm telling you, it's such a heart-opening experience. And I just have so much love and gratitude for everyone who's shared. It's actually more healing sometimes just to listen, but and I know that there's more work for me to do when it comes to voicing and being expressive. But I've been starting with the juicing and listening to the Bible study, the decodes, and a lot of separation from family and friends, and just really trying to just keep connecting. And I realize that juicing itself has been the biggest key, and a lot of detox also has happened, and that the detox is in all elements, from the physical, emotional, spiritual. It's really doing the work on me. And I don't know what else to really share, but I do have a lot of my experiences from my own self, but I just want to say thank you, and thank you for having me on here. And I love all of the family, beautiful. And I certainly want to get to Mexico. Living in Vancouver, it's very challenging with trying to connect. But that is definitely a vision I see every day, is getting a van and traveling, and with the 3 dogs. And even with Sarah and I have been talking, how do we get those dogs across the border? They want to chip them, but I don't want that, and whatever. It just got to be in the present, right? Just be present and move with the flow.
There's a bit of an echo on you. Thank you so much, Patricia. Anytime we have the pleasure of witnessing someone exercise their throat, in this type of environment. So I just want to acknowledge you for doing that. It's really empowering for the rest of us to learn how to communicate what's so tender in our hearts. And I think the reason we don't do it is because we've been so, rejected, and there's been so much opposition. And now we're reclaiming our position as children of God, and our capacity to share is really important. So I just want to honor you for doing that. And I feel the same. I mean, this family is beautiful, and it's growing, and we can just keep trusting it. Just keep trusting it, and keep trusting that we're a part of something that's, I think Aaron said it last week. Where we're going, we're also paving the road. And so it's that like we're creating a whole new thing. So all of the fears from the past and the matrix and all of that stuff, we don't have to have those fears because that's not what we're creating. We're creating something the opposite of that. And that's really comforting for me in so many ways. I know for a lot of you. So glad you're here. I'm happy to meet you. We've been Facebooking. Who's next? Was it Sabina? Was it Sabina or Sarah? I don't remember. Go for it, Sabina.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here as always. And this is such a beautiful space, Marie, that this is such a container of true empowerment and people are really open, for the higher conversations. So it's always such a joy to be here. And I'm very happy to hear about Dr. Morse because I'm also a student of Dr. Morse. And so beautiful to be connected to others on the same path. And I also want to mention Arnold Arad, who has been a great inspiration in terms of fasting, which I've been practicing for 25 years now. And I'm still going deeper. I still feel I don't know anything. Yeah. So it's such a really deep path and so much more opens up each time. And I just want to mention also to kidney filtration that I recently did a 3-day dry fast and my kidney filtration really improved drastically just from that. And it's not easy to do. The third day was extremely tough. I was just lying in bed, very weak. But then the next day, my filtration was amazing. So much sediment in there. So it really had a big impact doing that. Just want to add that. And I also can't wait to get to Mexico. It's been on my agenda. And I actually would love to bring some people here for a workshop or something. Because now, as I mentioned, I'm starting workshops from my home. I invite people to my home and we do ceremonies and sound healing, cacao ceremonies. And I just did a workshop on alkaline diet and also introducing different ways of detoxing. So I'm building my own little community here, but I'm looking forward to bring actually people to Mexico at some point. And I also recently hosted an online fasting retreat where I invited people, and actually there were people coming from Serbia and Las Vegas. It was so inspiring, and every single one had a breakthrough. And that were people that never did any juice fast before, never any water fast. And some people that had amazing results. They suddenly their brain fog went away and they got so much clarity about their path and it felt closer connected to God. So there was so much transformation happening. It was just such a beautiful gift. And I just find it so wonderful to be with other like-minded people. They're also on that path to healing and we all support each other. Because when we all get together, the healing is magnified. And that's where true power is really created. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to come to Mexico. Really, I've been dreaming because my body loves the sunshine and loves the warm weather. And I'm dreaming about having my fruit trees. I've been, buying so many oranges, but none of them have seeds. And it's really, they're not available anymore in the US. So So I want to get to Mexico and have the real oranges.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. We're tripping out on the oranges down here. They're beautiful. I noticed the difference when I was up in the States too, of oranges. I was like, this doesn't taste, it didn't taste the same. The juice down here was really magnificent, everything. But, Sabina, anytime you want to come down and you want a group, let's talk and put a week on. We're going to do an event May 9th to the 14th. Here at a place called Los Milagritos, Little Miracles. And this is kind of the stuff that I want to do. You guys say, hey, I want to come down, Marie, in June. And we're like, great, this is what we did with these guys. And we just kind of set it up and we can do it a little bit more structured. We just got a big whiteboard. And so now we're organizing our day because there's like a lot of people and everybody has the things that they want to do. And then we also have the kids involved. So we want to make sure that you guys are spending time with children every day. And not every day, but like during the week, everybody has like a little bit of an offering that they can serve and be with the children because we want you guys to be integrated, right? And it's such a win-win. Everybody wins, really. It's like when I'm with Willow, like lifts really high places. She's so precious. But thank you for that. Thank you for your knowledge on fasting and all of the things. This is part of, when I was thinking about this project, we talked about the Garden of Eden project, but before that, I wanted to call it Regeneration Nation. Maybe we'll do a vote, because I think that all of this detoxification is one element of it, but it's also this regeneration that's happening that I think we're really excited, you know, and that's really what gets me going too, is just to see, like, you know, my fingers changing, just to see my skin changing, to watch my stomach and my scars starting to go away. My hair, like, just everything is starting to change in the physical and also emotionally. And it's a little bit more, I'm a little bit more raw, I'm a little bit more sensitive, but that's teaching me how to be discerning. It's teaching me how to focus on my journey more than anything else, to really make sure that I'm aligned, instead of trying to, again, fit into those constructs. So fasting and all of the things that we're up to is pulling us out. And then now we're kind of like in this place of like, wow, okay, this is kind of exciting. You know, when Eugene got to the house last night, like, we were pulling all of this yumminess out of the dehydrator, you know, and I thought, well, this is what happens on Sundays. We're hanging out, we're having a pool party, whatever. And then it's dinner time and we just pull out what we got and have a little, you know, soiree, and it's so beautiful. So I'm so excited, Sabina. Let's keep talking.
Yes.
I want to make sure that we get money in, and I know that the decode starts in about 20 minutes. So was it Shelly? Do you want to pop in here? Let's do Shelly.
I like to pop in if that's okay.
Go for it.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Marie. I cut you off.
I'm good. I'm super good. I'm so excited to hear what you have to say. I'm happy. Okay. I don't know if we've met.
We've kind of talked on Facebook or the Mighty Companions for a little bit. I'm the one that does Reiki.
Okay, got it. Thank you. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here too. I wish I could have made more of them, but work is one of those things that you have to do every once in a while. So I'm kind of in between at the moment and trying to have a little say here. I've been on this journey probably for about 15 years now, and I'm a Reiki master, have been for about 9 years, along with quite a few other energy works kind of in my toolbox. I've kind of created my own, I guess, way of working with energy, which is exciting, and has brought me through quite a bit of this journey. And I love what Justin said. I am really in that observation moment where, when I get either negative or positive, I'm really observing where I am in space and time, and how it's affecting me and why it's affecting me, and what is it inside me that still isn't healed, that I need to work with. So this community is absolutely fantastic. I have been waiting for a place where I can hold space and have people who hold space for me, because holding space is one of my things that I love to do for people. And sometimes it's hard to find people who know how to do that for you. So this is fantastic. I appreciate everybody who's here. Love to connect with some more people on Facebook and have some more chats. And coming down there, Marie, and seeing you guys is on one of my top priority lists as well. So thank you so much for sharing this space and having this space for us. I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm excited to learn more. I've gone from not believing in anything to starting to slowly piece together the truth, which is so exciting, because I've always wanted to know exactly what the truth is. So thank you.
Thank you, Shelley. That was gorgeous. I'm the same. I feel like Charlie Freak was the first person in my life that told me the absolute truth. And that's why I was like, okay, I'm dropping everything. I'm in 100%. Let's do this thing. And the other piece I just wanted to say before I passed it to Sarah is how wonderful it feels too to be with Mighty Companions, because I've always held space, and to know I can come in here and you guys hold space for me too, I think really makes this a circle. this demonstrates our quality, and that we shouldn't be ashamed of our shit. Like, we just need to clean it up. And sometimes, like, I reach out to Justin during the week. I reach out to Charlie and Colleen. I reach out to people. I'm like, blah! Because it gets to certain levels, especially not publicly, where I'm healing a lot of stuff. And, I'm healing breast cancer too. So let's talk about my broken heart. Like, I'm laughing about it now, but there's some moments on this journey that are really heavy and really sad. And so it's wonderful. And I might reach out to you at some point for Reiki. And if I can be there for you, I will be, for anything that I've got. And I do want to do something. We're going to get to it more privately too. So let's talk about that. I have some courses and all of that. I know some of you have reached out to me about it, but right now I just really, this is working.
Marie, anybody who's interested in any kind of Reiki, I'm more than happy to do that. I've never felt like it never felt right to me to charge to do it. It's a gift that's been given to me, and it's a gift that I like to give. Now, if somebody wants to give what I would, call an energy exchange, that's fine. But I have a work that God has given me and that pays me well, and I am more than happy to reach out and help anybody who's interested.
Beautiful. And that's really what we're looking to do too. We're shifting the model of money. And the word charge is interesting, isn't it? It's like when you feel a charge or when you're charging for something. And so it's the same thing with these calls. Like, if you feel like contributing, go for it. And if not, then that's totally cool too. I'm going to keep doing it because I know that we're paying something forward. Justin does that beautifully. Like, if you get on a call with him, it's like, if you can contribute, great. And if you can't, pay it forward. Do something beautiful. And that's, again, in alignment. When people say, well, how do you feed your family? And you go, you trust God. Just trust God. It's going to work. It's going to happen. And it is. Sarah, go ahead and chime in, sweetheart. Where'd you go? Sarah Stewart.
Hi. Hey, guys. Yeah. Can you hear me okay? Okay. Yeah, it's great to be here with you all. I'm feeling, I just got back from the island and I'm back in the city now, and it's the full moon, and I'm feeling very emotional and like heavy today. But yeah, being able to just walk, and like, when I was on the island, I just sat in nature. I was with nature every day. I like climbing up mountains, biking to different parts of the island, and just connecting on my own. And it was so healing for my heart. And then to come back to the city is quite a shock to the system, actually. Like, and everybody's talking about wanting to be in Mexico, and I'm dying to be down there. Like, I feel like it's a need. It's not even something that I want to do. Like, I need to get down to the tropics. I need to be around more like-minded people. And, yeah, this one, I've always really connected with the trees. Like, I'm a tree climber. I still climb trees, but like now it's been like connecting to the energy of them, and like every morning getting up and I just need to go out in the city and find a tree. And that's what I did this morning. I just went and found some trees, and I had to just connect with them, and that it's kind of recharging to me, and just learning to find these ways of like coping with the heaviness that can sometimes come on from being around, everything. And Canada's still pretty nuts right now, and, being around family and just all of that stuff. So I'm just kind of, yeah, I don't really have too much to say today, but I'm just it's nice to be around, to be in this group and hear what you guys all have to say. And it really fuels me, because I was just really struggling this morning with a lot of the emotion and stuff. So yeah, just sticking with the juicing and doing this journey. It's like, it's healing on so many levels. Like, we're all experiencing, some days it's so intense. And then like, what I've noticed the most that's been so beautiful is having like back-to-back really good days. Cause I never had that before. Like, I would have a good day, and it's like, and then the next day wouldn't be that great. And I could never really seem to string good days together. And I mean, my diet was a huge part of it too, cause I was so sick and how I was living before. But yeah, so I'm just like, I like Barb, like, I'm so excited it's your birthday. And, I feel this, like, I feel like a baby, that's why I love connecting with the children so much too, and like just playing. Like, that's what nature, the biggest thing I got from being on the island and connecting with nature every day was like how to play. And, I'd be sitting there in meditation at sunset with my papaya, or I bring my fruit up there, and it's like, and then I just happen to open my eyes, and there's a big bald eagle flying over, or a hummingbird happens to come by. And it's like, that that feeling of just knowing that God is all around you and in you, and you feel it. And that's, you know, like I spent my whole life like not having that, and I was not connected to I couldn't even feel my own pulse half the time. And I just felt so dead. And like, I had no idea what was coming around the corner after the pandemic hit, and the plan, we were, you know, finding Charlie and Colleen and them telling us the truth and learning the truth. And then everything changes. And it's like, it's just such a beautiful journey. And I'm so happy to get to share it with you all, and coming on here and hearing everybody. We're all kind of going through the same stuff and experiencing this journey in our own way. And it's just the most beautiful thing. And I seriously can't wait to be in Mexico. I really got to get down there. So yeah, thanks for doing this show today. It's just been amazing. I love you all.
Love you, Sarah.
That's awesome. You know, it's funny. I was talking to Marie yesterday, or I think I was actually talking to Eugene, and like Marie said, I'm kind of a bunch of information on a lot of different topics. But you know, when we all started kind of following Charlie and Colleen, we were really hoping that a lot of things that they were talking about were going to come true. And as things continue to go forward, they didn't really come to fruition as planned. And a lot of us were like, you know, is this really true? Is the guy full of shit? Like, trust, I mean, everybody's like, you know, but the funny part is that the reason we were drawn to him is because he was actually speaking the truth. And I was talking about something called the Operation Looking Glass. And it's interesting because it was a military type thing. You can look it up. There's some whistleblowers on it, but it's basically that there were two timelines that came together in the year 2012, and they were able to kind of see forward. There was this probability of timeline A and B. And the thing is that when the timelines merged at 2012, there was no changing the outcome of what's going to happen, right? Now, there's a good outcome and there's a bad outcome. And right now, what's really happening is we're ascending into the good outcome. And right now, the evil in this world is trying to hold us down. And the thing is, it's been trying to hold us down for so long. And that it's amazing to see everybody with their journey and their stories, and just everybody talks about that ascension, and that's what's happening is our energy is rising, and they can feel that, and that they're trying to hold it down, and they're creating all these fake events and this and that. The world we live in, we're just like, holy cow, it's not even real. And this is the reality of what God wanted for us. And it's just amazing to hear everyone's story about, you know, where we were, you know, a year ago, where we are now, and how quickly everything has transpired into such a positive environment. It's amazing to see. Truly blessed to be around everybody. And thanks so much for having me on today. It was amazing to hear everyone's story and just get a little bit from everybody.
Yeah. I loved that yesterday. We were talking about that at the kitchen table yesterday. That's what's so fun, is that you could just have these conversations whenever you want. You don't have to worry about, you know, someone getting mad about it, or you're like, wait, tell me more. And one other thing you shared, maybe you can share real quick, is that it's still happening. It's just the timelines.
So like, everything that Charlie ever predicted could have happened, but what happens is that they know that they can't change the outcome at the end. They can only prolong it. So what happens as we ascend, they're kind of pulling us down, but we're still ascending. So they're just weighing down the ascension. So things get moved back, but the end result cannot be changed. So right now, basically what's happening is they're just delaying the inevitable from actually happening. And so when we expect something to happen and it doesn't, it's just because the plan's just being delayed.
So good.
And also just to add on to that, we don't really know what's happened behind the scenes as well, as far as things playing out. So we're not going to learn about the full extent of that until we start to see all these documentaries and movies. And so, yeah, there's so many layers to it, but it's exciting to witness and be a part of. Thanks for sharing that, brother. It's good to meet you.
Yeah. I mean, if you haven't seen Level yet about flat Earth and you still believe that the Earth is round, that's okay. But we need to, the idea of the Earth being flat is more truly into the essence of God. It's our true being. That's, you know, you bring into biblical scripture and everything like that. I mean, that is why that is being hidden from us, because they don't really want us to truly understand the true nature of God and his beautiful creation. And so if you haven't watched Level yet, it's a good movie. And the fact that that's actually on mainstream social media is a great start to see some big information to the general public that's really truly now, hey, something's happening here. This isn't really what the truth is.
Yeah. We've got like front row seats. Doesn't it feel like we've got like front row seats on this show? And it's like, oh my gosh, like, wait, that's a turn, that's a thing. What did you say to me yesterday? Oh, something political about one of the governors in Michigan telling people, don't go to Florida. Yeah. And then they found her in Florida. I just like busted out laughing. I'm like, This is so crazy. It's just like, yeah, it's all good. We're having so much fun. Dave, I want you to be able to chime in if you want to, honey. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. This is great. One of the things that popped in is, we were talking about, putting everything into God's hands and stuff. And it's amazing to me how more automatic that has become over the past year in particular. I've gone through times, well, I'll say I've basically been paycheck to paycheck and never had any kind of savings to speak of my entire life. And I was sitting down this morning looking at the way due dates for bills and stuff were coming in and where my paychecks were. And it's kind of funky the past 3 or 4 months, the way it works out. And I was looking at it and it's like, I don't know if I'm going to make it. And then this thought or voice came in my, oh, you'll be fine. I don't worry about stuff like that. It's been my experience that 90% of what I worry about never happens. So I just look at it as it is what it is, and I've been kind of struggling, particularly yesterday and today. And I heard the term and I think that's what's happening to me is I have the 5D to 3D slip. I mean, stuff that goes on around you and kind of pulls you back down, and then you realize it. Then it's hard to get back up there, and that's kind of what I've been experiencing. But today has really helped being with the family. I guess that's the way I look at these Mondays now, whether I'm at work or not. 1 o'clock pops in, and I feel like I belong here. And it's good to see you, Danny. I remember when I was watching Charlie one night and Marie was there and you just kind of popped in and sat down and didn't say much. And then the following week you were there and you said a lot. And it's like, oh my God, he says, I really enjoyed listening to you. And it's like, I'm glad that you didn't just stay quiet, I guess is what I'm saying. I don't know where I'm going to end up. I've lived in the Northeast my whole life. I hate the cold. I wear long johns from October to May. I would love to end up down there, but God bless everybody that gets that drive to go down there. That's what I'm looking for. There's a difference between being God-driven and pushing something that I want. And that's what I need to really be careful about. There's a fine, well, it is a fine line, but it can be a huge hole. So I don't want to second guess any of the messages or feelings that I have, but at the same time, I've learned what the truth is. I feel the truth almost immediately. And when I get that feeling, that's when I start walking forward. So that's when I'll just kind of cut everything loose around here, hop in my 1968 Volkswagen and take my own sweet time going down to the border, I guess. That's been a nice thought for me. Do something, do it that way. That's kind of what I was thinking about. But anyway, that's all I have today. Good to see y'all.
Hi. Hey, Dave, thanks for sharing that. I was just thinking of how you'd feel. This part of Mexico has been like a big snowbird community, whatever exactly that means. But your crew from your era, they're like, yeah. There was a time where you could probably cross Mexico with a piece of paper and nobody cared, and frankly, nobody still does either. It's the land border people. It's just a place where human interaction takes place. Now, for the most, you kind of go in a certain way and you're fine. I mean, I meet people here that they go to the States and they pay a good amount of money to go, and then they work for a few months and then they come back, and they just crossed
they call it illegally, but they just went there, rendered a service, they made some money back for the community, and here they are, and they do it quite constantly. So it's kind of all good. But I just wanted to acknowledge you on like when you go back to 3D and then it's harder to climb in, and the pangs of truth that resonate within us when our spine gets kind of like lit up and we're like, oh my gosh, it's coming on. As of late, I've been not having so many of those, but I find myself that I have now a lot of tools and a lot of people that can support me in just staying in the narrow path. And it's literally that straight and narrow path, but it can be really wide too, in that it can be monumental. And I wanted to address the inclusive of 3D in my life, because I see it as expansion rather than ascension or like leaving somewhere. I'm expanding out and I'm kind of encompassing it all in, and just being grateful for the full-on experience. Here we have a crew of like nearly 20 people, and everybody who's chiming in on YouTube, that's like fantastic too, and everybody from different paths of lives, and we have the same calling. I mean, we meet each other everywhere now. It's amazing. It's like up for another fantastic week, and everybody's got their skill sets to share. And right now I came from downstairs where we're at, and there's like about 50 pounds of mangoes getting sorted out. They're going to be like dehydrated. They're going to be turned into mango tacos. The kids are there. They're like picking the mature ones from the non-mature ones. It's the school, and it's all happening. Then they're just eating mangoes, and this,
like I'm crying.
we're feeding on the energy of the sun directly. I guess that's one of the big things that we can get more of down here. But we're so happy to share it with you guys. And I know that you are in different localities where that just takes an extra line of effort. So you guys are doing like gigantically well. It's amazing. It really is amazing. And, for anything, feel free to reach out. We're just figuring out the technicalities of having maybe the Mighty Companions on Telegram, so that it can be service for everybody and people can just chat with each other and share modalities, energies. And it's so like happening right now. Like we kind of like going, well, yeah, I've got this shit. Hey, I can see this in you. Like with Joe doing reading the eyes.
He's doing
iridology. And just body work and yoga. Work with your daily routines, guys, because that's really going to keep you on the narrow path. When the brain goes like, okay, read this text, do this breathing, and it can be simple, and that's all you got to do daily, and keep coming back to that. We're retraining that kind of brain mind, and then like the big subconscious or the big consciousness is observing, and like in that closed eye situation where I'm sitting and taking 10 breaths and I'm looking at myself breathing, that's like me being able to project myself outside from my physical body, from that kind of constrained environment, but integrating it at the same time. So I'm coming back out and in and just expanding myself higher and more firmer too. So that seeing with your eyes closed, listening without hearing in silence, that sort of ability, that's what we're tapping into. Superpower, super magnitudinous human beings fed off light and like cleaning out, letting the energy channels flow freely. And it can be hard. And then so I've got to ground it a bit. I'm going a bit like, whoa, where's this happening? And remembering that we're not our emotions. They just flow through us. It's a motion of energy. That's it. That's it for now. It's Mighty Companions Mondays.
So
wow,
good.
Guys.
So good. We were making fun of Danny last night. He's so amazing, right? Dave, thank you for acknowledging Danny, because I'm a little bit of a like fireball, so I don't always But we were talking about him last night, right? How he's like, he's the Zen master. Danny like keeps
what you don't realize is Danny was actually yelling right there. He brings it up just a little bit, but it's like, you're getting like, that's like the pull on energy right there, right? Because he's just constantly on that good vibe. Like, it's amazing. Like, and it's sweet when he really gets excited, he'll swear. And then, he's like passionate about something, but he's just always cool and calm. And he's what you see on the videos is exactly how Danny is in person. It's amazing.
But I will say that I feed off everybody's experience because I learned so much in that. Am I just keeping the status quo just to not rock the boat? When actually we need to go and rock, we need to surf some big seas and get over with them, and we can do them. So it is about being present. That's all it is. Present. Like what's my environment right now? What's the energy right now? And being there all the time. I mean, I was so comforted. I put some links on a Facebook group, the Mighty Companions, and this was some photos that a friend of mine, this is from 20 years back. We got a friendship from 20 years back when I first started practicing yoga in London, and he's also a photographer. And this picture, seeing like that, those humans in London kind of living in the love light and saying, we are sovereign free beings and we're taking it in and we're living in the love. And it's a beautiful planet that we're on. And I choose the happy humanity, the happy living entity that we have the opportunity to be in it right now, out of the fear. And that gave me so much comfort. And I see it happening, that it's happening all over Europe. People are going, no, we're done with this. It's ridiculous. We're done. We're moving on. But it's good to be in introspection. Because that's where we are right now. We wouldn't have been here, like, had it not been for this opportunity. So Spirit is amazing. It just dances us in so like many unique ways. But like you guys being here and doing what you're doing, and like there's no turning back. There really is no turning back. And you just like mega amazing. And just by being, we're like inspiring others. And some of the inspirations, sometimes they kind of rub off as like, I don't want you to rock my comfortable life, even though, look, it's the truth. You can hate me for being me, but I'm just saying the truth. That's what's really bothering you. It's not, So it's hard to take sometimes when people kind of give you the rejection in that way too. But it's everybody's on the path, and we've done good even receiving the rejection, because we kind of, moved a little rock underneath, and there was a little bit of light that went under that dark spot. So, there, I mean, if it's a bit iffy with family and stuff, then just keep going on your straight path and doing great, and like being, I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you for the opportunity, and I love you. Yeah.
So powerful.
The best part about hearing the truth now, when you actually know it's the truth, how much better do you feel when you're around people who are telling you the truth, yes. Right? Like sometimes you have to just go and listen to something like this and you're like, oh man, what was I thinking? And now when you hear something that's not really, you're like, holy shit, like that's not true at all. Like this is ridiculous. And so then that's where you get like 6 days of that. And then you got to jump back in this and you're like, okay, now I'm back where I was. Like, people who think the same because they speak the truth,
The flat earth thing that you said, as soon as somebody told me about flat earth, and I downloaded an app and I watched it for a little bit, and I was sold on it just like that. It's like, wow, this all makes sense. And then none of the globe stuff, I haven't found anybody that can really prove any of that, but the proof for the flat earth is all over the place. So it's like, it's a difference between being told the truth and knowing the truth, I guess.
Yeah, nobody told you about the magnetic shoes they have in Australia, Dave. Like, good, I might hear your magnetic shoes. Put them on, go upside down.
Right.
It's funny. We watched Level with Claudia and Eugene, and Adam, my son who's 4, watched it for a little while too. He was like, this is boring, but he watched a little bit of it. And we were laughing. We were like laughing like it was a comedy, which I don't think it's meant to be a comedy, but there were parts of it that were just like, oh, I can't believe we believed that for so long. And that they're, promoting this and the whole, Disneyland for adults. I mean, wow. I want Alan to be our cherry on top. I just want to say one thing about Dave, what you shared too, just to acknowledge this about you, how you said you wanted to follow God's will. We don't want to push through this. And I think that that's where the community is going to come in, check with us. And that's why I've been loving this community so much, because I feel like I'm learning how to not turn this opportunity into like a business opportunity or like something that I need to put together and like structure. I really want this to be, and it's happening. Like God is doing this. God is bringing us together, and we just need to keep trusting the plan, breathing into it, calling on each other when we need support. And yeah, Alan, go for it. You are just one of my favorites. I love you.
Thank you. Love all of you. When Dave was like, yeah, I was sold right away on flat Earth, the first thing that came to my head is like, yeah, once you go flat, you don't go back, Great, Miraculous Monday once again. I'm here to learn. I learn a lot. And then one thing that I really gonna try to practice now is working on how I react to things. And not, how you're talking about all the messages and the comments we get on our lifestyle. I'm not just going to react. I'm not just going to have no reaction to the negative comments, but also, I'm going to practice, just like Justin said, not having too much reaction to the positive comments as well, because we end up relying on it for like motivation and to bring us up. And if we rely on something external, then Justin was right. We got more work to do. And I was just thinking when Marie mentioned about staying calm and having trust in the Lord. I have a little story about that. Staying calm, even though we get these tests, right, from the Lord. And it was last year, early March. I used to live in the Northern Mariana Islands, and I used to live right next to the beach. And I would walk my dogs at the beach, and I found this boat. It's not the most sturdiest looking boat, but it was just like abandoned there on the beach. So I'm like, hey, I'm gonna take this boat out. I'm really reckless like that. And then around that same time, my buddy was at another beach. He was calling me over for our barbecue and to have a couple beers. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to take this boat to the other beach, and I'm going to meet him there. And, I was thinking about what you said about not getting what I wanted, but God gave me what I needed. So I took this boat out recklessly, not even checking if there's holes or anything, if the boat is okay. I made a paddle out of pallets. I broke down some pallets and made a makeshift paddle, and I started paddling my way to this other beach. And the first half I was doing good. I was going towards the destination where I wanted to go. And then all of a sudden, the waves started picking up, the wind started picking up, and it was taking me out further and further from my island, from the shore. And deep down, I had this fear, because my father was lost at sea when I was like 10, and it kind of reminded me of the Truman Show, right? The True Man Show, and usually at this point I would panic and probably jump off the boat and try to swim my way back to shore, because paddling wasn't doing anything. But on that day, I'm glad I didn't panic. I stayed calm, and I had this trust that day. I had this trust that everything's going to be okay. I looked down and I realized there's holes on the boat and there's water coming up. And I was just like, instead of panicking even more, I had this sense of humor where I'm like, oh, wow, this is how I'm going to die today, just like my father. oh, how funny how the universe works, right? And then I was just looking down, kind of like consent or already set that, hey, this is probably the way I'm gonna go today. But right when I looked up, there just happened to be a speedboat going by, and I was like, oh wow, nice. I started waving my makeshift oar, and they would just keep going by, and I was like, oh man, they're gonna miss me. But you know, I guess one of them saw me. They turned back around and come and got me and brought me to the beach that I was supposed to meet my buddy at. So yeah, this is not how I wanted to, not the result I wanted, but God kind of gave me what I needed. And I realized that a lot of my fear was gone that day. And then a week later, since I still felt it was, the experience was still with me. And then a lot of that fear was still gone. A week later, that's when I started my fruit diet. And that's around March 9th. And from there on, I just been on raw fruits and sometimes raw vegetables. But yeah, that's something that really made me realize that, hey, you know, you don't have to fear anything anymore. And so that's what kind of pushed me to like, all right, I'm gonna do this fruit diet. You know, I almost died anyways, so I'm gonna do it. I knew about this fruit diet since 2018. My cousin was telling me about Santos Bonacci and John Rose and all that. And at that time, I was on a keto diet. And I was watching your video with Vegetable Police about trying all these different diets. And at that time, I was on a keto diet. So the idea of fruit diet was kind of just crazy for me. And so I put that idea aside for 2 years and finally lost all the fear and just went for it and had my trust in God. And here I am. It's mind-blowing how much it changes you physically, mentally, and spiritually. And this is why I want to share like to more people. And I'm glad that Miraculous Mondays is here so I could reach out to more people and share my experience on the fruit diet and the benefits. And yeah, this is my cherry on top. So, thank you all for today.
We love it. Wow. We love you, Alan. What an amazing story. Yeah. God always saves the day. I love how you were like, oh, that's awesome. We're like, yeah, obviously that's what's going to happen right now. Like, and that's what keeps happening, I think, with a lot of us. We just keep seeing God show up in our lives and save the day.
And yeah, now I just look at this world.
Wow, you guys, what's the card, Barb?
Oh, sorry. I just look at the world now like it's a big test, and we're like main characters like Truman Show. Like this is like one big Truman Show. We're all the main, like we're all on our own journey or our own path. We're all the main characters. So that gives me more confidence to live with that trust. So yeah, sorry, that's.
Are you okay if I just give everybody a message real quick? I had to laugh when I read this.
What?
It's real quick. You are remembering at a soul level. You are tapping into your greater awareness and an understanding of your highest life purpose shall become even clearer to you. This may evoke unsettling change within you, but the change is necessary for a new way to manifest. You are protected and guided at all times, especially when you feel uncertain about your course. You are truly loved. That was a message for everyone. But how ironic, because I was talking about this today. And I've never even gotten this card yet. So there you go.
There you go. I love that. We're all guided and protected. Always. We're so loved. So beautiful. Barb, Thank you, guys. Listen, I just want to acknowledge all of you for your capacity to hold space for the circle, because Miraculous Mondays is awesome because you guys come and you just kind of like sit and this beautiful just container so that people can share what's on their hearts and be heard and be listened to. And I think that's one of the things that I really always seen we need more of, just the capacity to exercise our third chakra, our fifth chakra, right, Patricia? And to be heard and listened and honored. And you guys, each and every one of you is so precious, and we love you so much. And every time someone says they want to come and see us, like my heart just gets this fluttered, healing vibration. And whenever and however it happens, I'm trusting that it's all in the highest for all of us. So I just want to thank you for that. Anything else you guys want to share? I'm going to go over to the song decode. Maybe, do you think we should start an hour earlier? Do you guys want to start an hour earlier? Maybe not for Alan. Does that matter to anybody in this group right now? Go ahead and chime in. No? All right, we'll let you know by next week if we shift it up an hour, but I love 12 noon here for us. It's good. Sure. It's okay. All right, friends. Thank you to everybody in the chat, and we love you. More Mondays are coming. Have a beautiful week. And remember to reach out. If anything's happening, guys, we're here to support each other. And that's the whole function of brotherhood, sisterhood. All right?
Namaste.
Namaste. Love you guys. Love you, love you. Works for me, Aaron. Love you all. Love you all so much. Bye for now. Bye-bye.